It's 6 o'clock. We're following breaking news now. Flight delays and potentially a nationwide ground stop that's happening right now after a critical FAA system outage. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Joey Horta. Just minutes ago, the FAA tweeting an update saying it's working to reload the computer system now. This system is responsible for sending out flight hazards and real-time restrictions to the pilots. So as a result, no flights are able to take off. Austin Bergstrom International Airport saying it's also experiencing ground stops right now. Passengers should expect some delays this morning. This is widespread. This could happen throughout the day, the impact here. And according to FlightAware, 93 flights coming into the United States are now canceled as a result of that outage so far. We're going to keep getting more info throughout the morning and we'll keep you posted. Let's change gears now and talk about what's happening with our weather as we get going today, Josh.
Yeah, and it's setting up to be a warm one out there today. It's already a little mild for this time of year. Temperatures that are in the 50s out there currently, even a few 60s on the board. 51 in Waco, 53 Tipple, 56 in Killeen. You can thank the cloud cover that's in place, allowing us to stay warmer than if the skies were clear. That would allow the temperatures to fall as more overnight. That has not happened. 64 at 10 o'clock, 76 at noon late this afternoon, climbing towards those lower 80s with the high cedar levels. And those high cedar levels are around tomorrow behind a cold front that will cool us off. Good news is maybe some of those start to relax a bit into the weekend. Today, though, the big story is going to be the warmth. 84, our record will be close to breaking a record from 1905 today.
Josh, thanks. Communities across the country now are doing their annual homeless count. That's happening later on this month, and a Central Texas group needs a lot of help to pull that off. 25 News reporter Angela Parsky explains how this could have a big impact.
January 26th, communities across the country will conduct a point-in-time count of the number of homeless residents in each county. Bobby Ehrig is leading the charge in Bell County.
It does not take any type of special degree or particular experience, just somebody who has a caring and understanding heart.
The Central Texas Homeless Coalition needs about 50 more volunteers who will spend the day meeting with those living on the streets and in shelters.
And our goal is to be able to provide the most updated data of the snapshot of our homelessness so that our federal elected officials can make decisions on funding, housing vouchers, and those types of things.
This time, he says the count will show the lasting impacts of COVID and economic struggles.
As much as we are all impacted in our normal lives with the economy and the recession and the cost, the homeless and those in poverty are feeling it 4 times more.
He says without enough volunteers, the more likely it is the organization will miscount, and that could have serious consequences for some of the most vulnerable Central Texans.
Andrew Leparsky reporting. If you're interested in volunteering, you can call the Central Texas Homeless Coalition. The group that covers Bell, Coryell, Lampasas, and Hamilton counties is looking at this, and they say there were 320 homeless people in 2022, 58 veterans, and 15 kids. Many members of the LGBTQ community across Texas are feeling targeted by new bills on the agenda for the new legislative session. 25 News reporter Christina Davis is following the bills that could impact this marginalized group of people.
It's a hard topic. New bills discussed in the 88th legislative session surrounding the LGBTQ community. Victoria Brumbaugh says, despite how hard it might be, it must be addressed.
Imagine just the fear a student could feel if you're not even allowed to talk about, the existence of your parents or the existence, of yourself. That's it. There's nothing positive to achieve.
She's referring to the Don't Say Gay bill, or House Bill 1155. The measure would prohibit children from receiving instruction of sexual orientation or gender identity in public education. Jared Patterson, a Republican Texas state representative, filed the bill. In a statement shared on Twitter, he says, stating in part, the sexualization of our children must stop. Given what we've uncovered, the bill is needed to provide parents with maximum transparency and control over health-related concerns in our schools.
If the, Don't Say Gay bill passes, what about all the multiple families with same gender parents? How is that going to be addressed in school?
Many residents like Carmen Sainez, petrified of the consequences they say will come with bills like Don't Say Gay. But the Texas GOP's platform wants the Don't Say Gay bill and others enforced to protect the youth. from gender-affirming care for children to classroom lessons about sexuality and even drag shows. Some lawmakers here in Texas have filed around 36 bills surrounding LGBTQ people over the last week.
It is destroying lives and ruining families.
It's child abuse. There's a reason why parents don't know if they don't know already. And because the kid knows when it's safe to come out and when it's not safe. People just want to live and let live. People just want to do their own thing and let people, no one wants the government to hassle you.
Governor Greg Abbott saying, though, parents will be restored to their rightful place as the leading decision maker for their children. Christina Davis, 25 News.
Lawmakers will consider more than 100 election-related bills. Governor Greg Abbott hasn't set his priorities for the session yet, but one bill in the House would make election fraud a felony. Another would establish election marshals to prevent fraud, and several bills in the House and Senate would allow for online voter registration. If you're looking for a fun way to keep your family fit, listen up, because there's an event this weekend you don't want to miss. All the details coming up here in 5 minutes. Welcome back. It is January 11th, in case you're confused about what's happening, outside with the weather. It feels more like October-ish. It just doesn't feel right.
To me, it feels like spring out there as you're walking outside with the winds, with the warm temperatures that are hanging around, and with the sneezing that's been happening here lately.
It's
just
tough.
Everything coming together here in January. That's what we're dealing with out there this morning and through the day today. You can see out there now in the Clark Roofing Camp, we do have some cloud cover in South Waco. That's keeping the temperatures a little warmer today. 51 is where we're at in Waco currently. As we plan out the rest of your Wednesday, expect a warm one. We're back in the mid-60s by 10 o'clock, mid-70s by noon, and late this afternoon climbing towards 83. South winds continue at around 15 to 20 miles per hour today. That will blow down the terrain, and that means we'll warm up. Normally should be at 58 this time of year. We'll be far away from that. In fact, more than 20 degrees above that. The record is 84 in 1905. That's more than 100 years ago. And we have a high on the board for Waco at 83. It's very possible that record comes tumbling down today. And our western counties could warm up into the upper 80s. Again, heat that we should not see this time of year. There's the cloud cover working through as we go through the day. We'll call for partly cloudy skies. Now, overnight, I think things will be a little cloudier than you see here on Future Track. We'll be in the 60s through the overnight hours, at least until a cold front could come in the wee hours of the morning. Behind that, winds turn around the northwest, and that brings cooler air. In fact, tomorrow, I think we will barely get into the 60s with that northwest wind blowing. That also blows down from the northwest, which means it's going to blow in even more cedar tomorrow. And we'll keep the morning lows in the 30s and the afternoon highs in the 60s to round out the rest of the week. High cedar counts today and tomorrow. We'll try to ease them a little bit going into Friday and Saturday as winds try to shift around the south. As you look at that 10-day forecast, here comes a little warm up on the other side of the weekend. Mid-70s, Martin Luther King Day.
If your New Year's resolution is to get fit, there's an event happening this weekend that's going to be fun for the whole family. The Awesome Family Fit and Fun Workout is this Saturday, and organizer Van Davis is here to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great
How
to
are
have you
you?
back. I'm
Happy
doing good.
New Year.
Happy New Year. And you've got something new this year for folks. You're trying to get them to get up and get moving, and tell us what's going on.
Well, one of the best way to stay fit and active is to get the whole family involved.
Yeah.
And once a month, we will be hosting an awesome family fit and fun workout, so the whole family can come out together every month to do this, and we're going to be featuring different types of exercises for people to try it out. And it'll be a lot of fun.
And no pressure, right?
No pressure, and it's for all fitness levels.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out this year to work out, this would be a perfect time to come and try out different exercises. If you've been exercising for a while, this will also be a fun place to come and have fun. Yeah.
I understand you're going to put me to work now.
I'm going to put you to work. Now, this weekend, we're going to be doing a Tabata workout.
Tabata.
Tabata
Which is
20 seconds of work,
Okay.
10 seconds of rest. And you're going to go back and forth. And for this weekend, we're going to do a cardio base and then using these exercise bands for resistance training.
Okay.
So for the back, this is a great place. You can hold the band for about 10 inches apart, retract the shoulder blades, and pull the band to your chest and then slowly release, and then pull it again. And you should feel it right between
Yeah, I do
the
feel it.
shoulder blades,
Am I
right?
doing it right?
You're doing it great. Just focus is on the back, not so much of the arms.
Okay.
And then you can even put this underneath your feet, and you can, there you go, tuck the elbows in, and you're gonna be curling just like that. Everything that you do with dumbbells, you can use these exercise band. Now we're working the biceps.
Right. I like
Yes.
this because you can take it with you on vacation and
You-
you're traveling, it fits in the bag, whatever.
I have 2 exercise bands in my suitcase that I
Yeah.
travel with. And it's easy, it's simple, it's light, anyone can do it.
Anybody can do it. It's so easy to do. And so this is going on every month.
Every month, and the first one, 1st of 12, will be this Saturday,
Okay.
the 14th, and we're going to be doing jazzercise, Tabata, and total body stretch.
Where's this happening?
It's going to be held at Crestview Church Community Center on 7129 Delhi Road here in Waco.
And if your resolution is to save money, this also fits into that.
Well, nothing is better than free,
Yeah.
right? Free, free, free. And the weather, with the weather's going to be nice, but the allergies, my allergies is acting up. So we're going to have this inside the gym.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool. Thanks so much, Van,
Thank
for coming
you
in.
so much.
We appreciate it. I feel better already. We're getting moving this
That's
morning.
right. That's right.
6:14. We'll be right back. It's 6:17. These are the top stories we're following. Breaking this morning, delays and potentially a ground stop impacting flights across the country. Many flights. There's a critical FAA system-wide outage, and just minutes ago, the FAA sending out a tweet that it's working to reload the system, and so it's responsible for sending flight hazards and real-time information to the pilots. So some flights cannot take off, but not all are impacted. The FAA is saying they'll keep updating us as they make progress. No one won the Mega Millions last night once again, so Friday's drawing is now more than $1.3 billion. It's the second highest drawing in Mega Millions history. Now to the weather, which is a little spicy out there this morning, Josh.
Yeah, a little warm out there this morning. We're waking up to temperatures in the 50s and the 60s, Joey. You can see that things are quiet on the Clark Roofing Cam in South Waco, 51 there, 53 in Tipple, and 60 now in Killeen. You can see the cloud cover in place. That's what's keeping us warmer this morning, and that'll be around for the first part of the day. We'll break into the sunshine this afternoon, though. That combined with the southwest winds really crank up the temperatures. 76 by lunchtime. We're sitting in the mid-80s for that afternoon commute, and that could mean that a more than 100-year-old record comes crashing down. Now, Joey, I'm tracking a cold front that's coming through overnight. We'll time out that cold front, have a look at the cool down behind it, plus your weekend forecast. That's all coming up.
All righty, Josh, thank you. Here's a health alert. Doctors and parents are trying to prevent childhood obesity. New guidelines are out this week that could help with that. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon here with what those doctors are recommending to treat this problem. Nakia?
Good morning, Joey. What would you consider weight loss drugs or even surgery as an option to help your child lose weight? Well, those are the new guidelines from the AAP, the first in over a decade. There are an alarming numbers out now from the American Academy of Pediatrics, reports that over 14 million kids in the United States are considered obese. Experts now want to focus on treatment instead of prevention. I spoke with local medical professionals here in Central Texas, and they said simply, one size does not fit all.
And so healthy habits starting early tend to be the best, but we all need to remember that there are some children out there that it's not just a lifestyle habit. There may be a metabolic issue or some reason like that they are chronically overweight.
There are 4 drugs that are now approved for obesity treatment. The problem is they are expensive. Coming up on Good Morning Texas, I'll have more details on the report from the AAP. Back to you, Joey.
Thanks, Nakia. If you're seeing a lot of blue this morning, there's a reason for that. Governor Greg Abbott has declared January as Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Blue is the designated color to help raise awareness. According to upbring.com.org, that is, Texas is second in the country now for the reported cases of human trafficking. And any given time, more than 300,000 people are being trafficked in this state. Nearly a third of children, so folks are being asked to wear blue, and that's what we're doing here this morning. Well, the state's favorite beaver getting ready to break ground on another massive travel stop in Central Texas. We'll fill you in on where you can make your next pit stop. pick up some of those famous beaver nuggets. An all-new Buc-ee's is coming to Central Texas after months of rumors about this. The company says, yep, they're opening a new spot in Hillsboro on Highway 77 near I-35. The groundbreaking is set for the 24th. The new Buc-ee's is going to be 74,000 square feet, 120 gas pumps. According to the company, it'll bring at least 200 jobs to the area. All right, Josh, let's go ahead and give away a 25 News mug this morning.
Let's do it, Joey, and congratulations to today's winner, Tia Siebel. Congratulations. We'll let you know how you can pick up your Good Morning Texas mug.
And if you want one to, just head over our website. It's kxxv.com/contest. Click the mug and give us your email address. We give them away every day. All you got to do is watch to win. Okay, no jackets necessary this morning.
No, not at all.
Leave them where they're at.
Leave them where you're at. You don't even have to really turn on the heat as you walk out to your car. Just make sure that AC is not still cranked from yesterday.
I'm telling you.
That surprised me this morning. I forgot it was blowing full blast, and yeah, you had to turn on the heat just to counteract that. But you won't need that today because temperatures are going to get into the mid-50s here this morning. And later on this afternoon, we're heading towards the 80s again. There's a view in Killeen on the Clark roofing cam. Things are quiet. Temperatures in the mid-50s there in Killeen. This is where we start the day. As we head towards 10 o'clock, we're in the middle 60s. By lunchtime, mid-70s. And later on this afternoon, as you're hopping in the car to drive home, temperatures will be in the lower 80s. The winds will be out of the south at around 15 to 20 miles per hour today. That will lead to some high cedar levels. And then we crank them out of the northwest tomorrow with the next cold front coming through, which will just continue to exacerbate the cedar problem. Lower 80s today, but we could be talking mid to upper 80s west of I-35, where the moisture's higher, upper 70s east of I-35 towards the I-45 corridor. Changes come in overnight. We'll be muggy until this cold front arrives. Behind it, northwest winds come in, and tomorrow we'll spend the day in the 60s, not only tomorrow, but also heading on into Saturday as well. 60 Friday, 62 Saturday, and then by Sunday, we're back at 70. Later on next week, looks like we're warming up again, mid-70s, though we could bring in some rain chances by this time next Wednesday, thankfully, because we do need those rain chances, Joey.
I'm telling you, yeah, that AC on yesterday was just the weirdest thing that I had to turn it on in the car.
It really is.
In January. All right, we'll be right back. Breaking news this morning. Right now, there are widespread flight delays all across the country after an FAA system goes down. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joey Horta. The FAA now telling all airlines to avoid takeoff. All flights are on hold until 8 a.m. Austin Bergstrom International Airport saying this morning that passengers should expect delays throughout the day. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is saying now on social media that he's in touch with the FAA. He's looking into it. If you are flying today, expect delays. We'll keep you posted on the latest developments, but they are rebooting the system, hoping to get it back on by 8. Let's move now to the weather here this morning, and you're going to feel like you're in a weird place.
Yeah.
Weird time on the calendar.
Yeah, not really going to feel like January out there later on today, Joey. We're waking up to temperatures that are in the 50s and the 60s, pretty mild for this time of year. You won't really need the jacket as you walk out the door. You can thank cloud cover that's been holding steady here overnight. That's allowed us to not have our temperatures fall as quickly overnight, so we've been able to hang out here, along with the humidity that worked in yesterday afternoon. Now, the winds take more of a southwesterly trend later on today. That'll push us into the low to mid-80s and could challenge a record that was set in 1905. The good news is, Joey, I do have a cold front on the way. We'll walk you through the timing on that cold front coming up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. And now to a break in a murder case out of College Station. Police now have one of the three suspects in custody. Sincere Solomon and two other men are accused of shooting Rashawn Jones and leaving him for dead inside his home. Officers caught Solomon in Hempstead. Two other guys are still on the run now. Take a look. These are the other suspects. If you recognize them, call College Station Police, and all calls can remain anonymous. Here's how you can help support the victim's family. A friend of Rashawn is selling artwork now for $25 each to raise money. There's also a benefit lunch Saturday at 11 a.m. and a GoFundMe to help cover funeral expenses. Around Texas now, a former Houston area police officer put to death overnight, nearly 30 years after killing his wife. Robert Frada was executed last night in Huntsville. In 1996, he was convicted of hiring two hitmen to murder his wife. They're also on death row.
Frada did not make a last statement. He stared straight ahead at the ceiling and did not acknowledge the victim's witnesses at all. A spiritual advisor was there, held his hand and prayed as a lethal dose of pentobarbital was administered.
Prosecutors say the motive was money and the custody of their kids. DPS is now done with its initial report into the deadly mass shooting in Uvalde. According to the Texas Tribune, the report's now in the hands of the DA, Christina Mitchell. She says the Rangers' investigation into the massacre at Robb Elementary is still open. She thinks it'll take a few more months for a more complete report. That information is not yet public.
We're seeing more and more kids who are overweight or who suffer from obesity, and we're seeing them at earlier and earlier ages.
Now to a health alert. Doctors and parents are trying to prevent childhood obesity. New guidelines are out this week that could help with that. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon's following this, and Nakia is here with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning, Joey. For parents, would you consider weight loss drugs or even surgery as an option to help your child lose weight? Well, those are the new guidelines from the AAP, the first in over a decade. Experts now want to focus on treatment instead of prevention. I spoke with local medical professionals here in Central Texas, and they simply said when it comes to weight loss in children, one size does not fit all. Alarming numbers from the American Academy of Pediatrics reports over 14 million kids in the United States are obese.
In Texas, since 1995, the obesity rate's gone from 16 to 40%, and it's probably actually a little bit worse now because the most recent data I had was in 2020, and we know with the COVID pandemic, it's gotten a lot worse. And so the adolescent obesity rate is paralleling that in many ways.
Obesity is a state or condition that can not only lead to physical health issues, but also mental issues as well.
Our obese as children many times become obese adults. And in children, we are seeing more type 2 diabetes. We are seeing much more blood pressure increases, cholesterol and lipid increases, gallbladder disease in kids.
The guidance is now urging medical professionals to take a different approach to treat childhood obesity, weight loss drugs for children 12 and up, or surgery for teens.
We never want to give more treatment than is needed, but at the same time, we don't want to withhold treatment from people who need it. And there are many 13, 17-year-old patients who, unless radical intervention is introduced early, they're going to be 20, they're going to be 25, they're going to be 30 years old. With an additional 50, 100 pounds or more. And the more weight you gain, the harder it is to get it off.
Doctors hope as the drug become more available to families that this would not be considered an easy fix. Families should not only consider diet habits or activity levels as the cause of weight gain, but also the environment in which they live in.
And so healthy habits starting early tend to be the best, but we all need to remember that there are some children out there that it's not just a lifestyle habit. There may be a metabolic issue or some reason like that they are chronically overweight.
We really need to watch as parents saying things to our kids once again that promote disordered eating patterns and promote kind of a damaged self-image, because in the long run, those things are very defeating. And they don't lead to a healthy long-term lifestyle. So we need to focus more on health than those other things.
There are 4 drugs that are now approved for obesity treatment. The problem is they are expensive. Wegovy can cost as much as $1,500, which is not affordable for many families. Back to you, Joey.
Thanks, Nakia. If you're seeing a lot of blue this morning, I'm wearing a lot of blue, and there's a reason for that. Governor Greg Abbott's declared January as Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Blue is the designated color to help raise awareness, so they're asking people to wear that color today. According to upbring.org, Texas is ranking as second in the country now for reported cases of human trafficking. At any given moment, more than 300,000 people are being trafficked in Texas. Nearly a third of those are children. The city of Waco cracking down on speeders at Cameron Park. Over the weekend, a driver destroyed a $30,000 rhino statue at the park. Officers were trying to pull them over for speeding when the accident happened. The suspect's car slammed right into that rhino. The city says it's doing what it can to keep park visitors safe.
One, by the pedestrian footbridge, we came in with limestone blocks to create an extra barrier when you have pedestrians walking through, and that's something that we might explore in this area.
The city is evaluating the best ways to stop people from speeding through the park. There's a big fight in Hill County over solar panels. In 8 minutes, why farmers say the solar panels are not as environmentally friendly as advertised. But first, if you're looking for a fun way to keep your family fit, this is for you. There's an event this weekend you don't want to miss. Details are next. We're coming up on 6:40 now on your hump day. Happy hump day to you. And we're already halfway there, Josh.
We're already halfway through the work week.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That's fun. We're big Friday fans around here.
Uh-huh.
What's going on today, though?
Well, today it's going to feel pretty warm out there. We had temperatures that got into the 80s yesterday, even broke a record high, and today we could break another record high. This one older, too. Yesterday's was in 2017. This one more than 100 years old. They could come tumbling down later on today. Incredible heat that's out there this afternoon. 56 degrees currently in Killeen. As you look at the Clark Roofing cam there, that's where we start the day. We're in the mid-60s by 10 o'clock, mid-70s by noon, and late this afternoon climbing into those low to mid-80s. South winds will be around 15 to 25 miles per hour, so that will just continue to exacerbate any sort of cedar issues that are out there. Out to the west of I-35, you may be able to make a run at the upper 80s, and east of I-35, where the humidity is a little higher, you'll be hanging around in the upper 70s. Still, it'll feel like it's in the 80s thanks to that higher humidity. So a warm day all around for all of central Texas. Here we go on Future Track. There's the cloud cover that we had in place this morning. That's going to be clearing out. We'll call for partly cloudy skies this afternoon. As we head into the overnight hours, it will stay warm. It will stay muggy, 70s and 60s. That before a cold front comes in the wee hours of the morning. Now, behind that cold front, we'll see northwest winds pretty gusty. So as we fall into the 40s as you're waking up, grabbing your morning coffee, it may feel colder, may feel like the lower 40s out there. And then the northwest winds will continue behind that front. All that'll do is add to the cedar pollen. It'll keep us cooler, but it will bring that cedar pollen in as we go through the day tomorrow. So expect a high count tomorrow as well. Temperatures in the 60s tomorrow, and those 60s hang around on Friday too. 83 today, 61 tomorrow, 60 on Friday. You look at the rest of that 10-day, we're talking mid-70s to start off next week.
Thanks, Josh. If your New Year's resolution is to get fit, there's an event that's happening this weekend, fun for the whole family, and it's called the Awesome Family Fit and Fun Workout. It's going on Saturday, and organizer Van Davis is here to tell us all about it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is fun for everybody. We were just talking about a few minutes ago, childhood obesity. It's a major problem. Here's something that can help with that. Getting fit, getting moving.
We're talking about, how expensive the medication is.
Right.
And what better way than a fun, free, doesn't cost anything, but it's also, the best way to combat obesity is through physical activity. And here's a fun way that the whole family can come together. If the family stay fit and active, the children will also stay fit and active. So this is a great way to start off the new year by bringing the family together and come and join us this Saturday.
Leading by example.
Leading by example.
What are the workouts you'll be doing?
This Saturday, we will have Jazzercise.
All right.
Jazzercise is a lot of fun, high energy, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of hip hop and Pilates, kickboxing all together. And then Tabata workout, which I'll be leading. Tabata is an exercise program where you do 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. We can do anything for 20 seconds, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then we're going to do some cardio, some resistance work using these wonderful exercise band that I'm going to hand one to you to join me.
What are
we're
we doing?
going to do this right here. Hold on to the band.
Hold on to the band.
And the handle here.
Like this.
Taking it back, and we're going to extend it back. This is a great exercise for the back of the arms, which you can feel, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Am I supposed to go slow?
Nice and slow. Everything we do, here's a back exercise. We're going to take this band above the head.
Okay.
We're going to expand the band to the chest. This is a great back, lat work. And nice.
It feels good.
It feels really great. And I think you need to have this as a part of your morning routine, right?
Should we do this to start every newscast
I
now?
think so,
5 a.m.?
yes.
That'll wake me up for sure. If you're going to this event, anything we need to take with us?
If people can just bring water to drink and also a mat or a towel for the total body stretching segment.
Okay.
And the event will be held at 9:30 this Saturday at Crestview Church Community Center, where there's a big gym there, and you don't have to be outside sweating. Well, at 9:30 it won't be sweating, but the pollen count, the allergies.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be inside, bring water. If people want to bring canned goods, we're always going to be collecting canned goods for Caritas.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming in,
You're
Van.
welcome. Thank you.
Great opportunity for folks to get involved in.
And I hope to see you Saturday.
You got it. We'll be right back. There's a heated debate in Hill County. Farmers are worried precious farmland will be lost forever to make way for solar panels. In-depth reporter Alicia Despreto is following this story, and farmers are telling her about their biggest concerns.
Johnny Hanslichek and his wife live on a family farm in Penelope. Continuing the family's legacy, the Hanslicheks still grow cotton, corn, and wheat.
Hill County's been a major farming community for decades and decades.
He's now watching that community slowly fade as more farming disappears, only to be replaced with the last thing he wants to see.
It's really going to waste to see our precious farmland go to solar panels.
Ash Creek Solar recently started building about 2 miles from the Hanslichek farm. Now they're looking to move even closer.
The biggest issues is with the cadmium and lead and all the other toxins in it.
According to a paper by Germany's Stuttgart Institute, pollutants such as lead or carcinogenic cadmium can be almost completely washed out over several months by rainwater. They went on to say those chemicals can leach into the water and soil around it.
So that could affect my crops if I'm surrounded by these panels.
But a statement from the company behind the Ash Creek project, Primergy, argues that solar panels do not leach chemicals or contaminate groundwater. With the panels potentially now coming within 2/10 of a mile of his property, Hanslichek says he is worried.
Look how close they got the fences right next to the road. I mean, it's hideous.
Trees have been removed and terrace land flattened for the panels to be installed.
If they put the solar panels in, there's no way that they can rebuild those terraces over time. They have to be rebuilt every 3 or 4 years.
While the damage might already be done, farmers say the fight is far from over. In Penelope, Alicia Nespreto, 25 News.
And tonight at 6, a closer look at the fight and what the solar companies are saying about that project. Just ahead in your top stories, an update on the search for suspects in a shocking murder who police now have in custody.
And a nice sunrise in place across central Texas, setting us up for a warm day. More on near record heat on the way for today, coming up.
Here we go, a check on the weather here at just before 7 o'clock. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Joey. We've got a beautiful sunrise out there. That's the good news. You can see the greens, the blues, the oranges all mixing together as you look to the east from our Clark Roofing Cam at the 25 News Studio in South Waco. It is a warm one this morning, though, 50s and 60s as we're starting off the morning. That is going to give us a springboard to be able to challenge a record high, one that was set more than 100 years ago. Later on this afternoon. Cloud cover firmly in place here this morning. That'll clear out as we go through the day, and it'll allow our temperatures to climb into the lower 80s, along with a south-southwest wind, keeping that cedar pollen in play. Joey, I'm tracking a cold front that arrives overnight. We'll time it out for you. Coming up.
Thank you, Josh. Controversies brewing on Capitol Hill now over those classified documents found inside an office once used by Joe Biden before becoming president. He's now saying he was surprised that records ended up there, and Republicans, of course, crying foul and demanding the Justice Department look into the matter. Justin Finch has the latest.
At a summit in Mexico, President Biden addressing those classified records while adding some distance, suggesting they were brought to his former office without his knowledge.
I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office.
Sources tell ABC News Biden's lawyers discovered roughly 10 classified documents, some marked top secret, all dated between 2013 and 2016. The New York Times reports the papers include briefing materials on foreign countries from when Biden was vice president.
They've turned over the boxes to the archives, and we're cooperating fully.
Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney John Lausch now investigating. That probe coming as a special counsel investigates why former President Donald Trump took hundreds of classified records with him to his Mar-a-Lago home.
They have to eat their words, but the hypocrisy.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee also investigating. But there are critical differences between these cases. ABC has learned it does not appear Biden personally asked for the documents to be moved from the White House. While Trump knowingly took hundreds of classified documents, some marked top secret when he left office. The White House insists Biden's legal team immediately informed archives as soon as they discovered those documents. Whereas Trump refused to hand over the classified material for months, even resisting a subpoena, before the FBI finally searched his Mar-a-Lago estate. And more questions remain about those Biden records, including why were his lawyers packing up his old office, and could there be anything in those records that could damage the president politically? Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
6:52 is your time. These are the top stories we're following. Police in College Station now have one of 3 murder suspects in custody. Sincere Solomon and 2 other men are accused of shooting Rashawn Jones and leaving him inside his home for dead. Officers caught Solomon in Hempstead. The 2 other guys are still on the run. A former Houston area police officer put to death overnight, Robert Frana, executed last night in Huntsville. In 1996, he was convicted of hiring 2 hitmen to murder his wife. They are also on death row. Prosecutors say the motive was money and custody of their kids. Back to that breaking news right now. There are widespread flight delays all over the country after an FAA system goes down. FAA is telling all airlines to avoid takeoff. All flights on hold until 8 a.m. Austin Airport saying passengers should expect delays throughout the day. The White House now saying minutes ago that there is not any evidence of a cyber attack, but the president is ordering a full investigation. So if you're flying today, expect delays. More than $1 billion still up for grabs today. No one got all 6 numbers in last night's Mega Millions drawing. Friday's jackpot now worth $1.3 billion. Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
If I can make you a billionaire tonight. Overnight, the big drawing for $1.1 billion, the 5th largest lottery jackpot ever. Now, if no matches all 6 numbers, Friday's jackpot could be more than $1.3 billion. The odds of winning just 1 in 302 million, but ticket sales brisk. Lottery jackpots have been growing bigger in recent years after a rule change that added more numbers to choose from.
So the odds of winning the Mega Millions jackpot got just slightly longer, which helped to build those jackpots moving forward.
Higher ticket prices also mean more money for the jackpot, and as the prizes get bigger, the lines grow longer.
Back in July, we saw a record jackpot hit $1.337 billion. And then out of that, we move into Powerball, the other big national game, which also had another big jackpot.
So what's on the wish list of all those aspiring billionaires?
Go on a vacation.
Pay off a couple of mortgages.
I would help my church and get lost.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
All right, 6:55. Here's what's happening as you wake up with our forecast.
Yeah, and the sunrise that we're looking at from Killeen this morning on our Clark Roofing Cam giving us a beautiful view this morning at the oranges and the blues there in the distance looking east there in Bell County. 56 degrees is where we're going to be at 8 o'clock, 64 by 10 o'clock, 76 by noon. Late this afternoon heading towards those lower 80s. South breezes around will warm us up. It'll also bring in high cedar levels. We have a chance at breaking a more than 100-year-old record today. Record of 84 in 1905. I'm calling for 83 officially at the Waco Airport. If we end up a degree higher, we tie it. If we end up 2 degrees higher, we end up breaking a record that was set more than 100 years ago. That's how abnormal these temperatures are this afternoon. Could even see some upper 80s out west of I-35. There are changes coming in, though. The cloud cover will break up this afternoon, leading to that sunshine. Notice the south-southwesterly breezes continue. That will keep the high cedar levels in place. Overnight, we have cloud cover. I can't rule out a spotty shower along I-45 as a cold front swings through. Behind that, northwest winds come in. That brings in cooler air, and tomorrow we'll wake up in the 40s, feeling like the lower 40s. And by afternoon, we're barely warming into the 60s with the northwest wind. that will lead to an even higher cedar count tomorrow. 60 degrees on Friday, 62 on Saturday. A couple of beautiful days, though chilly mornings as we round out the week. Next week looks warm again, back into the mid-70s as we head towards the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, Joey. Maybe some rain chances by the middle of the week.
That'd be nice.
That would be real nice.
Yeah. Stay with us here for 25 News midday at 11. GMA's up next. Have a great day.